Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin. I am joined by the man that I know the Bruins have ended the Leafs, or where there is that rivalry between the Bruins and Leafs, Austin, and the Leafs just, oh man, it's terrible.
Yeah. The question is, have we seen the last of the core four? The core four being Tavares, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. Sometimes people do throw Morgan Riley in there, but that I don't think it was really on the defense. But I do wonder, is this it? And I do think it is. Marner is a free agent. He had over 100 points this year, but the Maple Leafs can't get it done. They lose 6-1 in Game 7 against the Florida Panthers last night, and they just looked out of it in the second period. Max Domi does cut it to 3-1 at the beginning of the third, but then they really start to pile it on, and I'm not all that shocked that this happened, but because the Maple Leafs, this is what they do. They always are like this, and I do wonder whether or not there'll be really, really big changes, or if it's just going to be small changes. But I don't think that Marner returns. Do you?
Yeah, no, I think this is kind of it. I feel like Marner leaves as well because you mentioned the contract, and I'm not sure about their cap, but I know they're paying a lot to Matthews. And to me, I think Marner's the only really big change because to me, the time for a big change would have been Matthews in that contract situation.
I would say Marner is a big change because he's going to get paid a lot as well. I mean, he just had 100 points. Not many people do that and become free agents. So I do think that it'll be a big change and a big shift, and I do think splitting up Matthews and Marner, which has been a line for a while, will be something notable.
Yeah, I'm very interested. You mentioned John Tavares. He's 34, so he's getting older, and so we'll have to keep an eye on what happens. But yeah, I wasn't surprised. It's more the way it happens because I joke the Leafs are the Cowboys of the NHL. They just cannot get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the difference is that basically everyone who's been a fan of the Cowboys for 30 plus years has at least seen a championship. Like my dad's a Cowboys fan, and he knows what it feels like for a Cowboys to win. But it's now been 2 generations with the Leafs, at the very least, that have not seen them win or even go to a cup final. So I do think drastic change is needed. Stolar's getting concussion. The goalie for the Leafs really hurt them. Joseph Woll isn't bad, but Stolar's is definitely the better of the two. I do think they bring Craig Berube back. I think his addition was positive. But I do have a lot of concerns regarding that core four and how much they're making, and also the fact that they cannot score in big games.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the biggest thing is like Austin Matthews. We saw it last year where he was on that incredible goal-scoring tear, and then he just really can't get it done in the playoffs. And to me, I think brings questions about him and just how he does playoff hockey. I would say Austin Matthews is better than Jason Robertson, but I do believe they have similar issues with regular season performance versus the playoffs, where they can score in the regular season very easily, fantastic goals, different levels, of course, but then when it gets to the playoffs, they just cannot score.
Yeah, and it's really those big games where you need them to score that they don't. I think that's a bigger thing for me is that Matthews has scored some goals in the playoffs. It's just not when you desperately need it. I don't think that he necessarily comes to play in those biggest moments, and that's something that you definitely need him to do if he's going to be your most paid. He's the highest paid player in the NHL right now. So it's game 6, game 7. He did score a goal in game 6 to help them win that game, but in game 7, nothing. And you can't be paid as much as Matthews is and have the expectations as high. I think that I don't know if you watch Steve Dangle a lot. He's the LFR guy. Yeah,
the guy
really
that
mad.
was losing his mind. Yeah.
Yeah, he always does, but he was talking about it, and I completely agree with him. A lot of people with Toronto like blame the fans. There's too much pressure. There's too much this and so much that, but I don't get that. I don't understand how. I'm a Yankees fan, and the Yankees are the Maple Leafs of baseball. Like, there's no more team popular than the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are a worldwide product. And sure, the fans can be really, really hard on Judge and on everybody, but at the end of the day, the players get to play, and they decide what we feel about them, right? I don't think it's really on the fans to. Sure, you shouldn't be throwing stuff on the ice like the Maple Leafs fans did, but I don't think that this series loss is on them or the pressure that they put on the players.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't be having that conduct of kind of throwing stuff. But I do believe the players are destined for certain markets and play better in certain markets kind of with their attitude. Those type of players that put pressure on themselves kind of live for that pressure and deliver those big moments. And to me, that could be a lot of players on the Maple Leafs just can't handle the pressure of playing for a big time market. That I would say Toronto is. Like, I think if Connor McDavid was in Toronto and they weren't playing well, I think he would go, I know I want this pressure, or I need to play up to the pressure. So, yeah, I don't really blame the fans. I think you can just kind of feel it and you can understand their distrust just given everything, especially since they were up 3-1. Or no, I'm thinking of a series. It was tied 2-2.
Well, they were up 2-0.
They were up 2-0. Got it. And then
and then it was tied 2-2, and they were down 3-2, then tied it in game 6, and then obviously lost in game 7 on home ice. They lost both of their last.
Another thing.
They lost their last 2 games at home, 6-1 and 6-1. Both of the games were 6-1, brutal fashion, and so they were outscored by 10 goals in their last 2 home games of the year.
Yeah, so I do think there are questions that need to be answered, and I think seismic change is needed. And part of that will happen with Marner because I just don't see them paying Austin Matthews and Marner big time money. But we'll have to keep an eye on that, and I'm very interested to see because I think every year it's almost like, okay, are the Leafs going to figure it out? And it always feels like a big time offseason move for them.
Yeah, I think you made a good point.
So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.